Welcome to another episode of Alchemizing Energy. Today we have in the building tonight 607 Uncle. Tonight we are going to be having a special edition of this. We're going to be talking about the spiritual and psychological impact of addiction. Welcome to the panel, Unc. How are you doing? How are you?
I'm blessed because it's the real spirit party. You cannot get in. Mozart drank. Jesus up gin. I swear to God, my mama.
Ah,
Stop playing with me.
shame.
Yeah. And you were talking about the addiction, right?
Yes.
I supposed to talk about drugs, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, not just drugs,
you a
but
fool. But I ain't gonna say you a fool, but I'm gonna say you stupid. Because the first addiction, the first drug was food. Right? Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So everybody run around kind of like talk about the dope fiends because they take the hit 3 to 4 times a day. Them same bitches taking the food 3 to 4 times a day, and they pay attention. They geek and they tweak too, but it's a difference, right? See, when you're on heroin, your addiction pain kind of hurts your stomach, make you bend over. You know, because I've been on heroin before. I've been on all the drugs. Right? Listen, but when you on food, it's the same because your stomach go rah, rah, rah. But they're parasites. Now a lot of people don't know. So the parasites is going rah, rah, rah. It's the same thing as the fentanyl that they spray it on the weed now. You know, the weed when they spray it, it got the fentanyl on it.
So there is such thing as fentanyl on weed,
Yeah,
but
but the first
fentanyl.
fentanyl was food. That's what I'm telling you. You gotta pay attention.
Okay.
Yeah, the first fentanyl was food. And it got a lot of different names, but the one name that don't nobody know would go by the name of gluten. And gluten is the secret drug that everybody addicted to. They don't know they addicted to. The other drug is dopamine. You know about dopamine?
Yeah,
Yes,
dopamine.
I ain't
Yeah.
talking about no physical drug yet.
Yeah.
Understand this. So when you talk about addiction, you got to understand that
Wow. Somebody called you. Somebody must have called them. You gotta put your phone on airplane mode. You gotta
let me
put
go
your
my
phone
phone
on.
not there. Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta put on airplane. Man, you be cooking, and right when you cooking, bro.
That's what I always do, because I be telling the truth.
But you right, man. Dopamine, all that stuff, and you know what? Your gut is your brain. Your stomach, your intestines is your first brain. And what people don't know is that there are reuptakes in your all of your dopamine, all of your serotonin, all that stuff is all within your gut. Okay. For anyone that don't know that. Okay. So and I learned this in actual rehab. I learned about the fact that, all these things, dopamine, serotonin.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get to the turn my phone do not disturb. How you do that? All right, right here, I got it. What's one do not disturb right here? Yeah, no, I don't know how to do it. Right there. Do not disturb. Yeah. So click it. It's on. Yeah. Okay, cool.
We lost your video. You want to go out and come back in? Oh, there we go. Okay, we got your video now. Okay, there were you? There you
All
are.
right. Why was that?
You were talking about dopamine.
Yeah. So when I talk about the addiction, we go to the dopamine. See, dopamine is like everything that you want to do, but you never do. Let me tell you what I mean. You know, when you say, "Oh, I want to go get a job tomorrow," the dopamine get in your body and your mind, and you think you already got a job, so you don't move. That's why I'm. A lot of people think I'm crazy, I'm dumb, but you got to understand what dopamine is. When you when you say I'm gonna go do this, and then you pick up your phone and you can't stop scrolling, that's that good old dopamine. I like to tell people that I got good source of dopamine over on my channel, 607 up. You get a lot of full doses of dopamine over there. See, what people don't understand is the whole world is addicted. The addiction is from within. See, everybody blaming people. But when you look within, you also addicted. You also a killer. You everything. The whole world. Even you and me. We all addicted in a different way. What else do you want to talk about?
the main thing is that like, okay, so all right, what is the spiritual aspect of addiction? You talked about parasites.
Right? The
So
spiritual of addiction is this, right? So when you addicted, we like to call it attachments. This is what I mean. So I believe in the monad, which is abraxas, all neither good or bad. I believe in the omad, which is only one meal a day. The omad, one meal a day. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: the spiritual effects of attachments is reincarnation. You get to come back and get in another body, right? Because you got too many attachments. You can't carry attachments because you begin to be too heavy, right? So you love your mama, you love your girl, you love everybody, but that attachment is to keep you stuck. You got to learn to love while observing, because you're supposed to observe the law, observe the land. You a creator. We observe our creations. God neither need praise, so I don't need no praise. I just want to observe, just like God, because I'm God. I'm not gonna intervene. I'm not gonna interfere. So when you have these attachments, as you call addictions, in the spiritual world, you come back to earth. You get reincarnated.
so you're saying that the people that like live their life with addiction, they actually reincarnate.
Yeah,
So
but it's not just addiction of drugs, right? You keep
mm,
talking about drugs. See, a person can't be addicted to drugs. Listen, everything is internal before it come external. So for a person to be addicted to drugs, they gotta be addicted to something in their own mind. They gotta be addicted to pain. The memories gotta keep on spinning in their mind before they look for something to console it. See, when you do the physical drugs, it's only the reaction of what's already played forth in your mind. You lost control in your mind before you did it on the outside. What don't the fuck you understand?
so trauma is the beginning of addiction.
Yeah, from the mind. Everything comes from the mind first. As a man think, so he is. So if you want to stop it, control your mind then.
How can a person control their mind when
Good. I'm glad you asked. Right? So the mind works like this. It repeats shit over and over. You can't control it. You sit around and wonder why thoughts keep popping up. The only way to control that, you gotta, what Jesus say, Jesus said, get your armor of the Lord. Right? I'm gonna tell you what he mean by that. You gotta sit falling in the house now. That's how you know I'm talking. But look, this is how you gotta do it. So you gotta have a plan. So you gotta tame your body and your mind first. So first thing you gotta do, you gotta wake up every day at the same time. You gotta try exercising your body to tell your body, look, you work for me. So you exercise it, make it move, even when I don't want to move. And then you make your mind read for 10 to 15 minutes, even though it don't want to read, it hate to read. And then you make it remember. And you close your eyes, you accept all the pain, and you cry. And then you tell it to blank out. And then you let it blank out. If you do that every day, the same problem from yesterday won't come back tomorrow, because you got to wipe yourself. You know how you computer? We live in a simulation. So you know how the computer, you got to delete everything and wipe all the files. If you don't, it'll start running slow. Your
yeah,
phone and shit start running slow with all the backed
yeah,
up files in it.
yes.
That's how your mind is. It's the same way. So you got to clear it. You got to
Mm.
delete shit. You got to remove shit. Or you're going to start getting real old and slow, like my iPhone 7.
Right.
But it's still good.
So you got to clear your mind every morning. Do you think that like certain elements like getting in the tub, taking a
Oh,
shower?
listen, hold up. I'm glad you said think, because people don't know the mind actually does not think, right? See, thinking is a skill that they don't tell you you don't have. You go outside, you go to school, they tell you think, but they never tell you how to think, how your mind process these thoughts and these chain of events that go on in your head. So when you say think, make sure you understand that 99% of the world can't. Now finish your question.
What? Okay, well, if 90% of the world can't think, then dang, so what
Yeah,
are
they
we
can't
doing?
think because listen, this is how you know they can't think. You don't believe me, but I'm gonna prove it. Everybody do Christmas. Everybody do every holiday. Everybody go to school. Everybody get a job. Everybody do everything they tell you to do. So who thinking for themselves? Oh,
No,
now you get it.
nobody.
Nobody.
So we're in a program.
Yeah, we in a systematically programmed design. It's like fucking and never busting that nut, right? You gonna get all everything you want, but you ain't gonna get shit at the same time. That's
And
what I
that's
told my mama.
and
You
that's
live
pretty
by that.
much what addiction is, right? Getting
That's
it.
what addiction is. But addiction is in the world. Addiction is in the TV. Addiction is in the phone. Addiction to relationships. Everything is an addiction. So before you judge somebody and say they're addicted to crack or they're addicted to fentanyl or like these young niggas addicted to the cups, you got to understand that you're addicted to. You've been a prisoner trapped in your own mind. You're addicted to the struggle, right?
Mm. So how do you get over addiction if you're not thinking, and the whole society itself is programming you over and over again? You say get up every morning and just try to wipe your mind, but if you get up every morning and look at your phone, that alone is going to not be able to help.
Let me tell you this. Discipline, right? Everybody got to understand this. Life ain't about doing what you want to do. It's about doing what you got to do, right? Discipline is the key, right? Being either good or bad. Understanding that everything got a balance, right? So when you begin to do that, you begin to have more successes. You begin to have less failures. You begin to realize that life ain't that hard and that you made it hard. See, what I'm trying to get people to understand is that they got control, but only 144,000 can go.
Mm.
God didn't give us more than that. It's millions of people in the world, but only 144,000 can go. That's what a lot of people don't know.
You know, it's so interesting when you say about that morning routine. Listen, there's this guy that got up on TikTok, and he sat there and he put his face in some ice. He had this thing, these black things over his mouth, and he's getting up, jumping in the pool, running, looking at some stuff, doing that, reading this, that, the other, and he starts off at 3 o'clock in the morning. Is
Yeah,
there a
listen,
specific
I'm glad
time
you said
that?
that. So you
Okay.
saying stuff that you don't know what you're saying. 3 is the number of divine. Everything I do between 3, 6, and 9. Notice every time we do an interview, I tell you to start at 6. Every time somebody give me some money, they gotta give it to me at 3s. So they gotta give me $1 plus $2, that's 3. $120, that's 3, right? 1,500, that's 6, right? So everything go in that frequency. Einstein said it best. If you want to control the world, think frequencies and about and numbers, because numbers is the divine. Like Abraxas. Abraxas mean the number of the year. So every letter came from numbers, right? So we get these numbers and then we turn them into letters, but they tricked us with the numbers when they added the zero. The zero is the number that don't belong, and
Mm.
multiplication is off too. But we're gonna talk about that later.
You know, it was interesting. I'm not sure if you've seen this my channel. Lately I've been talking about the calendar and that we're on the wrong time. We're going by the solar calendar where we're supposed to be going on a lunar calendar. We're supposed to be.
The time is off. It's year 5026. See, they stole 4,000 years, right? See, in 4,000 BC, no, 400 AD, I'm sorry. In 400 AD, I be downloading information. I don't read too often about this. But in 400 AD, they destroyed a group, and that group was the Geonosticism. And right now, Geonosticism have broke down to one group called the Gnostics and Geonosticism. And they also broke down to certain people that believe in the divine. But I just want to tell you this, that everything go back to one source. And it's kind of really hard not to realize that the world itself is an illusion and you kind of stuck in a prison, because you can kind of look around and kind of see that. So again, I tell you this, right? And I just want to be honest. I don't want to be the type of person that lie, because I used to lie, cheat, and steal. I want to tell you this before I finish. I'm the biggest liar anybody ever seen. I killed a lot of people, right? I stole a lot of shit. I've been stealing since I can remember. The first thing I ever stole, I was a kid, and I was young, and they took me on a trip. And this trip, I was supposed to go on this trip, and I was supposed to go fishing. All the kids was fishing. I thought I couldn't fish, so I thought I'd steal some fish. So I waited till all the kids put their fish in the bucket, and they put their names on it. I changed the plastic. I put my name on it. I hid it back in the freezer. So at the end of the day, when the teacher called out everybody that caught fish, they called my name. Now the person name they didn't call got to crying and screaming, saying I caught a fish. They got in trouble. And I laughed. It was funny to me. It was funny to see somebody else go through pain and trauma that I caused at a young age. There go that addiction you talking about. That pride. That as long as I win, fuck everybody else. But I'm here to tell you this. That man killed me.
Killed you how?
It killed me. My whole life became about attachments. My whole life became about addiction. I was addicted to the thrill of making men worship me. I was a gangster. Had to be the hardest gangster too. So any nigga trip, I gotta kill him first. And I wanted to be worshipped. So I became a hustler. I was a money hoarder. I got more money than anybody ever saw before because I was a hoarder. Because I had to be worshipped. I wanted people to look at me and say he rich and shit and do anything I say. I wanted to control people for what I knew they couldn't get. I was addictive. I was addicted to life. I was a controller. I was an abuser. I abused every woman I was with. Right? But when God caught me, I just changed. And I talk to God direct. I don't go through the church. I don't go through a preacher. I don't go through Buddha. I don't go through nobody. I talk to God direct. But I want to tell y'all, he won't talk to you unless you pure. So y'all don't hear him because he won't talk to y'all. So y'all don't understand that. God don't talk to the earth. That's what people don't understand. Nobody is talking to God.
How do you become pure enough to talk to God?
God can't stand bad. Not a bad mind, not a bad thought. He can't stand evil. He can't stand a motherfucker that eat food. You ain't know that, did you? God hate addiction.
So you saying we shouldn't even eat? We
No,
should
you should
just.
eat one meal a day. The old man. And that one meal you should eat shouldn't even be really food. It should be what you need, what your body needs for energy. Because food is fake. Food is a drug. What don't you hear? So everybody going to McDonald's. You ain't noticed that McDonald's, Burger King, they all got the hamburger, but you got nerve to say I don't like Wendy's hamburger. How can you not like the hamburger when they all the same hamburger? They all human flesh. See, everybody think they eat beef, but I ain't gonna talk about that. That's another subject.
Human flesh.
Yeah, the
What?
sacrifice, the sacrifice. You gotta eat flesh. That will make you act like an animal. See, a lot of people don't know that. You ain't eating beef. Have you ever seen them? You ever seen them turn down a cow?
No.
No. But the bodies in the morgue, where they go? You see them in the ground. You ever see them put them in the dirt? No, they put the dirt on it the next day with nobody there. Why? Why come funeral homes the only place where you don't gotta pay rent? Did you know if I wanted to keep my house forever, all I gotta do is bury myself in the backyard? They can never take it from me. Because now it's a cemetery plot. So if you want your family to keep your house forever, You worry about them not having no bills and worry about them having struggles, bury yourself in the backyard. I swear to God on my mom. Look it up.
Well, you know
Look it
they.
up.
Yeah. Wow. Look it up. Look it up, y'all. Okay. Because
You
I'm
want to
fixing
keep
to
your
look
house
that up.
forever, bury yourself in it. Don't be selfish. Then, then nobody got to worry about no house no more in your family. It can never move. I swear to God on my mama.
Wow, Shay. Man, he just broke some stuff down. I didn't even know what.
Nobody knows. Nobody know what I know.
And you know what? That's probably why people that are rich stay rich because they know this
No,
thing.
the rich stay rich off of death. Let me tell you something. The Rockefellers, they invented the get rich scheme that nobody used. It's called whole life insurance policy. So what you do is you tap everything to a whole life insurance policy, all your businesses, all your assets, everything, and you borrow money up into that. And your policy is 20 million. And say when you die, you get 20 million in there. So your family get 20 million. Right? And then all your assets in there, you don't have to pay taxes on. It's only gonna be the taxes at the time that you got it. It ain't gonna go through the whole tax thing. That's how Donald Trump kept all his property. That's why they say he don't pay taxes. So y'all don't pay attention. So nobody know financial literacy.
But then they're addicted to money, though. They
Yeah.
don't know financial literacy, but they're addicted to trying to paper chase and make the money,
No,
but don't even know
everybody
how
is
to.
addicted. The females are addicted to love. So they running around with people that make them feel good. Instead of being with the man that's right. The man that's doing the right thing, they're going to be with the man that make them feel good. See, everybody worried about feelings. But I'm going to tell you this. Your feelings going to drive you to a brick wall every time. Because your feelings ain't never right. When the last time you felt right? No. You supposed to just observe them.
Right.
Your feelings are scared. That's the scary part of you. That's the part of you that don't want to do that which you put on earth to do. You got to remember this, that you exactly where you supposed to be. It ain't no mistake. You exactly where your mind puts you. And you exactly where your mind can take you, depending on where you want to go.
And you know what? When I think about it, and I said this earlier in my live, I talked about the guy that had did something to that the white guy. He shot the guy, right? And I said, you know what? There's two emotions that happen in that thing: fear and anger. And that's a spirit. That's a spirit of fear and
Listen,
anger.
listen, do what Jesus said. Jesus said, how do you know bad? Jesus said the devil is jealousy or anything that is bad. So whenever a person is jealous, whenever a person is angry, whenever a person is saying anything that low or vibrate, that person is possessed by an evil spirit at that very moment. Even your mama, your daughter, your kids, anybody that come at you with a negative statement, they are possessed by a negative demon because only a demon can speak negative. You got to understand that. So a person can't say, oh, I'm not negative. No, you're the demon right now and you're full of it.
And emotions can be spirits.
Emotions are spirit. What don't you get? They your seven chakras. They what you supposed to be here to control. They everything that was bad. This was Sophia said. Sophia said that I tried to come to earth to help, but then I forgot. That's what she said. She said she tried to help, but then the world and the cycle made me forget, and she forgot. But the monad loved her so much, Jesus came to get her. And everybody thinks Jesus came for the world. Jesus came for Sophia. That's why Jesus went to the pits of hell. And he brought her back. But he left the code for everybody else to follow. Jesus came for the woman, gang.
Do you feel like relationships can be addictive, and why do you think that they can be so addictive?
Relationships addictive? Why do I listen? Relationships addictive when you start looking for your partner for your emotional completion. When you start looking for your partner to make you happy. When you start looking for your partner to do anything that's emotional, that's when relationships become attachments. Because if you can't make yourself happy, you're no good for your partner. So you should be already happy when you come to your partner. Because whatever you are is what you reflect. See, relationships, not relationships, everybody is part-time, is fake love. Let me tell you what I mean. If you good, I suck your dick. If you bad, you won't get shit. Right? That's that misbalance. See, a person should be the same all the time, no matter what. So a relationship is not a relationship. They become many attachments. They become bargaining. If you give me this, I do this. If you say this, I do this. And now you catch yourself negotiating with your partner all day. Everybody fighting for control. But if you have a principle and a purpose, and if your partner knows this, they don't gotta question you. Because why would they question something they know you standing for, right? So I think that people are full of lust. So you asking me a question that kind of like don't make sense.
Well, you know what? I think it's a dopamine response, what you just said. You know what? You lust, right? So that
Yeah,
lust is the dopamine response that kicks into the brain. And when that person is no longer giving you that dopamine no more, that's
yeah.
when you want to
So when you
cheat
ain't
and
got
get
that
that
dopamine, you realize you don't like this person no more. When you off that high, you realize you don't like that person no more. No, you never like me. You never like me. You like the way I make you feel. You like the good stuff I did for you. You like what I bought you. You never like me. So that's what I'm telling you. It's fake. You can't pay attention to it. Relationships are fake if they don't balance. If you don't understand that person has got to have principles and morals, and you got to stand for something. And you can't be controlled by emotions. So anybody that's feeling in a relationship, they wrong. You should never feel. You should observe how you feel. You should support your partner and their endeavors as they support you. But nobody don't do that, right?
right or wrong, right? Right or wrong. You know? If you really there, if you make this oath to this person,
Yeah,
especially,
yeah. But I no disrespect to you, but females, like you a female, they run off emotion. They run off how they feel, right? And therefore, how can you trust them? Well, how can I trust you if you're gonna run off how you feel before even having the truth? You run it off based off how you feel. You feel you how you feel, so you're gonna do. So I can't trust you.
mm.
How can I
But can
trust
you
you?
also do the same thing off of men though?
Yeah,
Men
men do that
go
too.
off of
No
feelings as
different.
well. They have, yeah.
I'm telling you, everybody in the world is doing it. A man does it just as much as a woman because men are bitches, right? Don't get it confused. I'm not stereotyping. I'm not saying it's women. You ask me about relationships. So in the form, it's everybody doing it. Let me tell you what I mean. I got to tell a story because you don't fucking understand me. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck I mean, then, right? So say you got a girl, or say you got a man, because you a girl, so I'm gonna talk to you like that. Say you got a man. He normally come home at 8, right?
Hmm.
But now
Yeah.
it's 8:30. Now, in your mind, you think, oh, he cheating. This son of a bitch. So when he comes to that door, you're gonna be aggressive. But if your mind would have thought what's wrong with him, something must happen. When he came to the door, it would have been different. I'm gonna tell you this: the problem started in your fucking mind. How you
Mm.
perceive things is how they are.
In your
So why
mind.
anybody gonna try to explain something to you?
And we should not be trying to control other people.
Yeah, because I already know whatever in your mind, whatever you see, is the reality you gonna see. I can't change it. Why would I try?
If that person wants to go out and do whatever it wants to, why would you try to control that person and say what time did you going to come in?
No,
And they're
that's why
grown.
you gotta get relationships with people with principles and morals that you know they got discipline. So if a woman want a man, she should look for a man with discipline. A man that get up every morning, work out, work his mind, dedicated to help, right? A man that got purpose. That's the man that ain't gonna fuck every little bitch he sees, right? But a loose man gonna fuck everything he sees. That's how you know the difference.
What do you think about semen retention? Like that men should not be giving their seed because it actually is a part of like their being in it. The more that they actually come, it actually takes away their life.
Listen,
The
the more
more
you bust a nut, the more you lose those spiritual powers, right? So the more you look, so if I don't ejaculate or don't bust no nut and I keep it in me when I meditate, it take it up more faster. So my mind, God never wanted you to have no bitch. You know what I'm saying? We made that up. He don't want you to have no man. We made that up. We put that shit in the Bible. God wants you to have yourself. You masculine and feminine. You all you need. That's what I'm telling you. And you said you want to talk about the relationship bullshit. I want to talk about that shit. Stop playing with me.
Do you think parthenogenesis exists? Is that a real thing? Parthenogenesis?
Quato who?
Parthenogenesis, the
What the fuck
ability
that mean?
for,
You don't know them big ass words. What the fuck that
okay,
mean?
the
The
ability
spirit
for
don't
a
know them
woman.
kind of words. Listen, the spirit don't know new words. I'm an old spirit, so I know old words.
So that
Stop
means
playing
the
with me.
ability for a woman to be able to give birth to a child without even having a man,
Oh
that she
yeah, a
can
woman
actually
can.
give
Yeah,
birth.
yeah, yeah. A woman can have birth by. She don't need no man to have birth to give birth to a child. No, she can sit down in the room and release them certain hormones to have that child. Um, that's not nothing abnormal. That's perfectly normal. That's perfectly fine for that to happen. But a lot of people think it's not. But it's perfectly fine. Um, it's kind of like this. Everything that's in
Oh, we lost him for a second. He was trying to plug something in. He'll be back. But yeah, this is getting deep, you guys. I hope that you guys are liking like what the information he's bringing it. You know what I'm saying? I hope he'll be back soon. But yeah, this he's bringing some information. So let's go into the comments so far. So look, the word demon Satan does not mean what the church told you that it means. Check the etymology. Scam Chan says humans and social beings are not born to be hermits. Well, you know that's true too, because if a human being goes without physical touch for too long, then there usually is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Because a human being cannot just be by themselves. But then, what about the monks that go up into the monk? You know, go up into the mountains and blah 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 blah. What about them? Like, are they? Are I mean, because they're hermits, those are monks, and they reach this level of enlightenment. They live to be like really old and everything. So, I don't know. There might be something to what Brother Unk is saying. So, people cheat because they made the choice to cheat. They did make the choice to cheat, but it's also, I think it's a chemical thing. You know, they, like I said, they want some dopamine. They want that rush of dopamine, the rush of serotonin. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting it from their partner, and so therefore they end up going and trying to find that dopamine, whatever that is, with someone else that's going to give it to them. You know, people get bored in relationships when you know that that person's going to get up, take a shit, and poop and eat and everything at the same time every single day. You get bored with that, and that's where you end up with going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm bored. You know, I need some change. You know, people just get bored. You know, you can't retain the same semen forever, so retention is false. Okay, great content. Thank you, Salvo. I hope he'll be coming back soon. But okay, normal. All right, so the monks made that choice, but that isn't the norm. Oh, here he comes back again. Hold on. Hey.
yo.
So there's been a lot of people saying the monks made that choice, but that isn't the norm. So monks that retain semen. But I was really talking about we the last thing we talked about is parthenogenesis, the ability for women to give birth
Yeah, I was
without
saying
actually.
this, right? See, that was the first sin, right? I'm not gonna say sin as the way you view it, because when they say sin, they're speaking of a sine wave. You everything is a sine wave. So when they say sin, the first sin, they speaking of sine wave. But I'm gonna speak on a language that people may understand. So when I say sin, understand that which I mean. Let me continue. Sophia is the divine. She's the divine creation of Abraxas, of God, the direct attribute of God, of the Holy One, of the monad, the biggest God who's so big you can't even call him God. To call him God is an insult. So Abraxas attributes was Sophia. Sophia then created a child without a male partner. Now, when I say male partner, I'm going to tell you this so people understand. Energy, everything, you got a positive and a negative. You got an action and a reaction, right? So we understand the divine law of things, it must take an opposite of something else to create. in the form of men. You need a man and a woman to properly create. But let me tell you why, right? So fear created a God. We call him the Demiurge. But he was bad. He was evil. He was mean. He was corrupt. She locked him in a firmament. She loved him so much, she tried to come save him. She got stuck too. Until Jesus came, and when it got her out the pits of hell, she was stuck in his realm. Along with her is 144,000 left. Everybody else on this earth is the demon. It's only 144,000 pure people. The rest of them are the demons. So we won. That's why Jesus said, "Where are the legions?" He said, "We are the legions, and we are many."
Jesus said that?
No, Jesus asked the spirit before he put him in the pig. Before, you remember when Jesus took the spirit out the lady, and he said, "What's your name, spirit?" And the spirit said, "My name are legion, because we are many." And Jesus took that spirit out and threw it in the pig. Like I told you, it's only 144,000 pure people on this planet. The rest of them are evil. They're the legions, because they are many.
So, do you think that's? I know it's like a sidebar. Do you think that's the reason why you shouldn't even eat a pig because it's got a
You
demon
shouldn't
inside?
eat meat. You shouldn't eat flesh.
Ah, flesh, meat at all.
No.
So why do we have the teeth that we have then?
Listen, over time, the body itself, it evolves. It evolves to what you do. I'll tell you something. The giraffes, they had short necks at one time, but as the trees grew, their neck grew. So back in the time, people didn't eat meat, but when the savages came, they started eating meat. So now when everybody's teeth grow, they grow with them fangs to eat meat. Oh, you didn't think I knew that? Okay.
Oh no, I don't think that you don't know nothing. I'm listen. I'm listening to you. I'm eating it up just like everybody else is because this is I didn't know that. You know, you teaching me something I didn't even know that the.
Yeah, the giraffe. The giraffe had the short neck, but it grew long as the trees grew longer. As the trees grew longer, his neck grew longer.
But I also heard that it's not meant for us to really eat a lot of greens and stuff like that because it's not good for our digestive system. It's better for us to only eat fruit, but then the fruit breaks down our teeth. So it's like one they'll say don't do this, but then don't do that, but then the one thing is gonna hurt you, you know. So it's hard to understand
You
what to
listen
do.
to too much. You listen to too much. Listen to your body. Everybody's body is different. Your body tell you exactly what you need. You don't need to listen to what they listen to. You need to understand you need 1 meal a day, and your body will tell you what else you need. Because some people have defects that's in their family that created from the gluten that they can't do 1 meal a day, they'll die. But their body know what you need, so you have to take a little bit. You still can't get full. You still got to keep your body on empty. See, some people have to have different strategies when they approach this with caution because your mind got to be strong enough for it. And sometimes your family genes then already destroyed you. Let me tell you what I mean. See, gluten, it don't affect you to 30 years later, but it's a thing that stays in the bloodline. So that's how you got heart disease, and your child got heart disease, and they child got heart disease without never once eat gluten, because now gluten has become stuck. I told you everything evolved, and they knew this. And since they knew this, they were patient and they waited for it to take effect.
What do you know about parasites? Because I really want to get into this parasite thing. Because I've been really like finding out that parasites are deep embedded within our system, and
Listen, I just
parasites can
told you
also
what
be considered
parasites
like
are.
demons.
Parasites are addicted to the food, right? They're addicted to the food. The little things in your body, little animals, your children that you're raising inside your body.
Right. And what I heard is because I've been trying to do parasite cleanses like oregano oil, this, that, the
You
other.
can't do parasites. Stop eating the food.
Stop eating the food.
Or you can't cure it. Stop eating the food. It's in the food.
Wow.
Man, come
Wow.
on.
But listen, everybody don't know this. You know it, but I don't. I'm like, hey, you gotta survive. Like,
Everybody know and don't want to know.
mm,
They want what's good for them. I told you people addicted. They won't
mm.
stop eating this because that tastes good. Man, I like the way that burger tastes. It can't be fake. They addicted.
So, so say everybody just went on a fast, like a 7 day. What would happen if you went on a fast and just stopped eating for like
I'm gonna tell
seven
you what
days?
happened, right? So your body do a lot of things when it's starving, and one thing it do, it sends out cells to kind of kill other bad cells. So if you got like cancer cells in your body or anything negative in your body begins to eat itself, but it only eat the things that are bad. So again, the perfect cure for cancer, I'm gonna tell everybody, if you got cancer, listen to this. Please listen to this, because God told me to tell you. Go to the hottest place on earth, probably California, somewhere where it's hot at. Get on a strict diet. Only good fruits, good protein like fish only, vegetables good, and lay in the sun 5 hours a day. Work out, run every day. Your cancer will die.
So my daughter came in here. She said, "Well, you lose energy when you don't eat."
You're
She's
not
a
listening. You
7.
gain energy when you lose energy when you eat. Every time somebody eat, they sit down and say, I'm so full. Ooh, I feel so full. When last time you seen a full person move? Stop playing.
Mm.
Stop playing. Stop playing. If you want energy, eat an orange. That's energy. No vitamin C give you energy. Know where you get your energy from. You don't get your energy from the food. It's certain parts that give you energy. You get your energy from vitamin C, from the fruits.
So should we be more eating like fruits and
You
mainly
should
like?
balance. You should balance.
Okay. Okay. Good idea. Balance. Okay. So it's a matter of like what you just said. Eating things according to what your body is, and don't overdo it.
Man,
Probably
eat
eat
one
once a
meal a
day.
day. No, eat one meal a day. And if your body needs nutrients throughout the day, like maybe a handful of peanuts, something like that, you do that. You need you got to drink a lot of fluid, a lot of water, a lot of turmeric. You got to drink uh them little brown things like Yahoo, the Assures, 2 or 3 of those a day. You got to juice. These are the things you got to do, and you will have the most energy you ever had. You
You
need to
know
implement
why this
that.
is touching me so much because I only eat once a day, but I'm obese, right? And I have a thyroid. After I had my kids, every child I had, I gained like almost 100 pounds with each child. I don't know, and I had like this whole thing, like my body was retaining water, my kidneys wasn't working. Every single child. Now I have fibroids, and this is like a downward spiral, right? But it's okay. It's not. No, it's an upward spiral. I'm
You
gonna do
gotta
better.
stop eating. You gotta stop listening. You gotta stop being addicted to food. Stop being addicted to everything, all that food, the fried this, the macaroni and cheese, the barbecue, the black eyed peas, the cornbread, the all that bullshit.
Right. Yeah. I'm not like a fried food eater or my issue is I drink my calories. I like to drink beer, and I think that's what. So this conversation about addiction is really about me because I know I'm addicted to hops. I like beer,
Yeah,
and
I told you everything is about you. Everything is external. You only gonna talk about things that you relate to, that you feel inside your mind. This is right here, the
Mhm.
show simulation. This is a product of your mind. You brought me to you.
Yeah. It was weird because my mom was an alcoholic. It was like, it runs in the so-called family, the so-called run in the family, right? And so when I had my first taste of beer, I was like at 6 years old. So after that, it's just been, so I have been dealing with addiction and trying to stop. How does a person, when they have been doing something for a very long time, because it's easy to say, just change it up. Just
Let me
change
tell
your
you
mind.
this. Let me tell you this. I listen to Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, every day, right? Because you got to understand it all starts from you. Everything starts from you. If you want to change anything, you got to look within first. That's how you do it.
Right. Another thing is that trauma. How does a person like stop like really
We talk about what kind
processing?
of trauma you talking to. It's two kind of traumas. Say a person can have childhood trauma from growing up, but they can have soul trauma. When you start meditation and prayer, you'll realize that you got more trauma than just this one lifetime. You got many lifetimes of trauma that you forced to live with every day.
How do you tap into that trauma and clear it?
I told you to rewind your video.
So for anyone that's coming in now that has that question, rewind the video. I'll share.
I ain't gonna be saying the same thing twice.
I listen, right. So listen, bottom line is that you have to like do the work, it's all about
No,
the
it ain't
routine.
no work. See, it
The
ain't
routine
work.
is the work. The
No,
routine
that's
is
not.
the work.
No, don't do no work. Everybody get in the mind of work. It's not work. It's natural. It becomes natural once you walk into it. You start to remember.
Okay, so say you're not used to a certain routine, but you don't look at it as work. You just look at it as like, okay, I'm just gonna change how I
It's
do
normal. It
stuff.
becomes normal. It becomes who you are. Like I get up every day and work out and all that stuff before I know I'm doing it.
And
Like I don't
working
even
out
know
for
I'm
some
doing it.
people. Oh, right. What about outside? Do you think people need to be outside more?
I don't
Because
go
I think
outside. I don't go outside. Only time I go outside is when need be. Right? I try to keep everything I need inside. So when you go outside, you invite other demons and other spirits and other people into your atmosphere, and you walk into somebody else's simulation. That's when you need all your protection. I got a spiritual box that I'm gonna put out right now, and it comes with all the protection for people when they traveling outside. So when you go outside, the spiritual box to help you. Cause like when you go outside, you face with a whole lot of different demons, right? And they legions. They are many. So you need your armor. Jesus said we need your armor of the Lord, and it's a mind thing. So going outside is dangerous. So you got to know every time before you go outside, you got to check the weather. When
mm,
it's cold, you grab a coat. And I ain't talking about the weather you think of, the weather of emotions, your driver, the person you with, their attitude, check their weather. If you're in a car with a bad person, expect a storm.
right, right.
And I ain't talking about the rain from the sky.
So how? What? So okay, given our okay, you said you got like this thing coming out. Um, I know when I get initiated, one part of they said like even exchanging money hand to hand, like when you even give someone the money. When I first got initiated into E5, and I was in my year in white, I was not allowed to give money to a person and let them take the money from my hand. I don't know whether there's an
Listen,
exchange that goes on or
now listen, it's a lot of rituals that go with a lot of things. I'm not an expert on those. I only know what God tells me.
I was thinking maybe because money does have a lot of like symbols on it and stuff like that.
No, you gotta listen. You want to talk about listen. Everybody get too caught up into the bullshit. That shit ain't gonna
Ah,
help you do nothing.
good point.
It's fake. Why we talking about fake shit? Let's talk about something that can actually help somebody. People need to study themselves.
Ashe. So let's talk about psychological. Okay. How does a person be able to depression, right? Sometimes, you get into a slump, right? How does a person pull themselves? Because it's one thing to just say, oh, just because I know you said like look back, but sometimes you're just in a slump and you don't even know why. And it's chemical. It might be about what you're eating. It might be about that you're not getting out and doing this, but sometimes you just have a slump and and then you go to this substance and it artificially brings you out of that slump, right? And you feel like, okay, I feel better now, right? Or I have to take this thing to feel normal, right? I had to smoke some weed and I feel normal now. I feel like I'm good now, Now I can like go and deal with people. I can deal with this and deal with that because when I'm in my natural phase, I can't deal with people. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta take this. I gotta take a pill. I gotta take some weed. I gotta like drink a drink or I gotta like do this. What let's talk about that, like the psychological aspects that goes on with addiction. I gotta eat something. I gotta drink some coffee. There's so many things going on that people have to do to even just live and just live in life, to deal with the world.
The problem with depression is this. We can't talk about depression before we talk about this. The feeling of depression is a heaviness. And we attract heaviness by what vibrates. The vibration of heaviness, your body begins to get heavy. So you can't move. You're stuck on that couch. You stuck on that floor. You're stuck in a place of misery. But every once in a while, you'll turn on your TV, you will see somebody you like, you get a feeling of happiness. And for that moment, depression don't exist. I hate to say this, and I don't want to say it, but everybody with depression credited for themselves. They depressed because they want to be. If they don't want to be depressed, they can just change their mind. Depression itself is legions, because there are many. So that good feeling that you get when you do something that make you feel happy, you got to attract that. You got to stay on a higher frequency to get rid of the lower vibration. Stop eating them heavy foods. Become one with everything. The depression will leave, because the depression is attachments that make your body heavy.
Attachments, right? My so and so passed. My this and that. My job got lost. You were attached to that job. You were attached to that loved one. You were attached to whatever you lost, and then you begin to ruminate and think again and again and again, over and over again, and it makes you stuck in that thing. Then you begin probably eating wrong. You begin taking in substances that are not supposed to be taken in, and that's all addiction
People,
is.
people misunderstand love. They think love is a feeling. Jesus said it best. Love is an action. It's something that you act on. It's not nothing that you feel.
How can we become more loving in our life? How can we like exude more love and like accept more love, receive more love, give out more love?
Don't lie, cheat, or steal. Simple. No matter what. Don't lie, cheat, or steal. Love everything, regardless if it love you back.
Regardless if it
Love
loves
without
you
being
back.
loved. Give without
Love.
wanting.
Wow. And don't take anything that's not yours.
Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Love without expecting it in return. Get to your enemies.
The
Bless
law.
those that want to kill you. Just love.
You
It's a
know, when I watch your videos a lot, and people like will be joking about what you're talking about, and you just still be yourself, and it doesn't matter what they say. You know what I'm saying? That's because you are coming from a place of, hey, I'm still, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm
I'm
operating.
God. I don't have no beliefs no more. See, people don't understand what beliefs are. Belief is what man hopes is true. Look it up. So when you walk away from belief, you know. When I had belief, I act as a believer. I was unsure. I couldn't do the right thing every day because I didn't know what to do because I only had belief. So I tell everybody right now, you don't want to believe. Belief is for a foolish person. They're too dumb and too stupid to look for the truth.
Man, listen, this was amazing. Everything that you said on this live was amazing. And I every time you come up here, I'm amazed by the things that you're able to like bring to light. And we're about 3 minutes from the hour, and wait, what we do 60 minutes, right? Three,
Right.
6, so at 6 o'clock, it's fixing to be 60 minutes and 2 minutes and some odd seconds. So I want you to give a final word to the people so we can end it right at 6.
My message is this. This show is about addiction. But I tell you this, let go of all attachments. If you the first addiction was food, second addiction was drugs, but the original addiction was God. The God that gave you to serve. Ask yourself where did he come from? Ask yourself who he is. Ask yourself, do you feel normal in your body? Ask yourself, do you feel different? Ask yourself who told you about God. Ask yourself, why do you believe? Ask yourself, why are you so unsure? Ask yourself, why do you wake up? Ask yourself, why do you die? Ask yourself, why do we have kids? Ask yourself if you're free. And ask yourself, finally, look at yourself and say, am I me?
Thank you, Brother Unk. Thank you for everything. Shout out. Much love. Ashe. Ashe.
What?
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time.